No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for February 20th, 2023. My mother's birthday, so shout out to my mom. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Much love and appreciation. Gomer Kyle sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says 1 Raw down, 5 to go. We are indeed on the road to WrestleMania. Shout out to the rest of the early birds in attendance. Jeff Meacham is here, Walter Cruz, D. Martin Fifth, Philip Sapp, Matthew, Hamp Connell, Matt Helms. Much love to you all. I'm feeling pretty good. It's actually just after 8 o'clock. I am on the West Coast right now, and it's nice. It's nice to be back to the old way of doing this at 8 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock. I definitely miss it, especially the older I get. I miss being able to do these streams early. So I still have some energy, although the time change is an adjustment for sure. Yes, Walter, get to wear short sleeves in February. Get to wear shorts outside. It's nice. All right. Sami Zayn kicked off the show. This Raw was in Ottawa, the state capital of Canada, I believe. The crowd was chanting Olay, chanting Sami. They were very happy to see him. He said he was grateful for the reaction, but he felt a lot of guilt for coming up short at the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. He said, the story is never over, but now it's entering his final chapter. And then he said, this whole deal is not just about him. There's somebody else involved. And he brought out Kevin Owens. Well, called out Kevin Owens would be the proper term. Kevin Owens arrived, and Sami said he's not really sure what to say to Kevin Owens, but did thank Kevin Owens and said he was sorry for everything, said that things got messy. He doesn't know if they can go back to the way things were, but they both have one thing in common. They are both looking to take down the bloodline. And Sami said that Owens could not do it alone. He could not do it alone. And proposed the idea that maybe they do it together. But Owens responded by saying that he doesn't need any apology. He did not go out there after the match was over to help Sami Zayn. He did it for his family, for Sami Zayn's family. He said he's been fighting the bloodline alone for several months, and he plans on continuing to fight by himself. Owens said that he was done with Sami Zayn at Survivor Series, and that still stands. And if Sami Zayn needs help as far as Kevin Owens is concerned, Sami should ask his buddy Jay. And then Owens stormed out of the ring. So as Walter Cruz brought up, they are doing this slow build. And we did talk about this last week when we did predictions. This idea that maybe they would recreate what we saw in 2018 with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They were teasing the Shield reunion, but of course they had the bad blood. And then finally, like I think it was the Go Home show, right before SummerSlam, Rollins and Ambrose finally reunited to set up their tag team match. And that's what it's looking like here, which, Walter, I agree with you. I think it's a good idea for WrestleMania. I'm still not the biggest fan of how the Elimination Chamber ended. I would have preferred to have seen Jey Uso turn against Sami, but at least in this case, we are getting several more weeks of build-up, and when Sami and KO finally reunite, it's going to be a pretty epic moment for sure. So yeah, it does explain to a degree why Kevin Owens did not actually help Sami Zayn initially until after the match was over because, well, he's still not really caring about Sami Zayn. He just wanted to attack the bloodline and I guess get that reaction in his hometown. He didn't say that, but I suppose that could be a reason why he just wanted to go out there and beat up the bloodline with his family out there. I suppose that makes sense to a degree. Thank you all for the birthday comments from my mom. I will let her know that you all wished her well, or many of you wished her well. We had Sami Zayn leaving the ring, and as he was on the stage, he turned his back to the entranceway, and that's when Baron Corbin showed up and jumped Sami Zayn. Oh, Michael Wayne says it was 2017, not 18 for that Shield reunion. So my bad if that's the case. Corbin cut a promo and brought up once again how he was the last person to beat Roman Reigns. Said that he called it, what was going to happen. Zayn was going to lose to Roman Reigns. And by the way, Matthew, good call here to point this out. Yeah, they had Corbin jumping Sami Zayn, and then they went immediately to the picture-in-picture. We had Corbin talking about how he was the only person to beat Roman Reigns and said that Sami Zayn's story is over. He said that Sami Zayn is a complete, utter failure. And Zayn wanted a match right there on the spot. Adam Pearce agreed to this. Sami Zayn ran into the ring, took down Corbin, punched him repeatedly. They brawled on the outside for a while. Eventually, Corbin did get the upper hand, and Zayn started to make a comeback, but was selling his back, still not 100% after that brutal match at the Chamber. And Zayn continued to build up momentum. He hit a springboard DDT, but Corbin kicked out of that. And Zayn hit a dive to the outside. Corbin, though, avoided the haluva kick and then worked over the ribs and back of Zayn. He charged Zayn in the corner, but then went to the well one too many times. And when he ran back to the other side, Zayn caught him with the haluva kick and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, is Corbin even capable of being a babyface? I think EC3 has a better chance of getting another WWE contract than Baron Corbin being an effective babyface. I'll just put that out there. Yeah, again, we say this every week. I feel bad for Corbin, but at the same time, like, the damage is done. I do not care about him. Time to move on. We had a recap of Edge and Beth Phoenix winning at the Chamber. And then we had a sit-down interview with Rhea Ripley and Dominic. And Rhea said she doesn't want to talk about Edge and Beth. She is focused on WrestleMania. Charlotte has been living in 2020. And Rhea said that she is the best bloody woman in WWE. And Charlotte is going to find that out at WrestleMania. And Dominic brought up prison again. Nice little appearance by Dominic, but not too much from Judgment Day on this show. Brian Duff with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Brian. Much appreciated. Says, who is going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year? Good question. I mean, traditionally, the Hall of Fame candidates would be announced like around the Royal Rumble, at least the headliner. And we got 5 weeks left, and so far nobody has been announced for the Hall of Fame. I would presume Batista, since he was supposed to go in back in 2020, and he wasn't able to do it the following year. I would say Batista is the main candidate. As far as others go, I mean, your guess is as good as mine at this point. I know my wishful thinking picks. I've been wanting Demolition in for the longest time. I've been wanting Ken Shamrock in for the longest time. Val Venus will not be going into the Hall of Fame, Hamp. Sorry. Ain't gonna happen. That dude talked too much trash on social media. I don't think he's going in. Although the funny thing is his gimmick was probably more over than half of the Hall of Fame inductees, to be quite honest. Anyways, back to Raw. We had an Austin Theory backstage promo, and he brought up the return of John Cena coming up in 2 weeks, and Theory was not happy that this was getting all of the attention instead of him winning the chamber match. And he vowed to beat up the Hall of Famer Edge in the Raw main event. We then had Dolph Ziggler versus Mustafa Ali. I do not care about this storyline. I have little to no interest in this storyline. So Ali avoided an early super kick attempt. Ali took control for a while, started trash talking and mocking Ziggler, but then Ziggler made a comeback, hit a DDT. Ali kicked out of that. Ziggler went for the Fameasser. However, Ali countered that with a crucifix and pinned Dolph Ziggler and celebrated like he won the world title. Again, I'm not interested. Maybe these guys will make a good tag team. I don't know. But yeah, Mustafa Ali's losing streak has ended, and I have no interest whatsoever in what's next. Easy fast forward as far as I'm concerned. We had Maurice backstage with The Miz, and she had an anniversary gift for him, which was in an envelope. Miz opened it and was very happy. He said that this was bigger than his winning half-court shot from that celebrity basketball game over the weekend. Check out the video footage on No DQ if you missed it. But Miz said he was not going to reveal what it is until next week's show. So they got a little hook here for next week. What is this big anniversary gift in the gold envelope for The Miz? Guess we'll find out next week on Raw. Tune in to find out. We had Cody Rhodes come into the ring for a promo, and he was quickly interrupted by Paul Heyman. Heyman had a neck brace on, selling what happened at Elimination Chamber when he was stunned by KO, and he said it was a tragedy for the wise man. Then Heyman started talking about Cody, said Cody cannot beat Reigns, but if it's not going to happen, but if Cody won, what would his life be like? Basically, Cody would be on the road 300 days a year. Rhodes would be on the road 300 days a year, if not more, between the matches and the personal appearances and the Zoom calls and all that stuff. And of course, we had a Dusty Rhodes name drop because that's what the storyline's all about. Dusty was never home, according to Heyman, and Heyman asked, is this the life that Cody wants? Heyman said that, Roman Reigns could keep Cody's wife happy, but Heyman would never suggest that. Reigns is a happily married man, but Heyman is not. And then Heyman finished his promo by saying that Cody's WrestleMania dreams are going to become his own personal nightmare. Another good promo here from Heyman. Solid stuff here. And then Cody admitted that, yes, Roman Reigns is great, but he's seen this play before. He doesn't want to see Heyman anymore. He wants to confront Roman Reigns. He knows it's going to happen sooner than later, and it's time to finish the story. But the idea was that Heyman's comments are getting to Cody emotionally just a little bit. And not everybody's on board with this Cody stuff. Some people think the crowd is still going to turn against Cody. We'll see. I mean, they were definitely into Cody on this show. They were chanting his name. But yeah, it'll be interesting once we finally get Roman Reigns and Cody in the same ring. Does Cody need to beat Roman? Somebody should beat Roman, but I don't know if WrestleMania is the right time just because Roman is so close to 1,000 days. And would it be better for Cody to be on the chase? Some people want Jay to be the guy. Like, who knows where it's going at this point? We had Asuka versus Nikki Cross. And as soon as the bell rang, Bianca Belair showed up. Bianca, she sat down at ringside, and pretty solid match here. Basically a showcase match for Asuka. Nikki got control for a while. Asuka would make a comeback, hit some rolling Germans, but Nikki kicked out. Asuka hit Nikki with several kicks. Nikki just asked for more. Nikki did counter an Asuka lock attempt, tried to put Asuka away, could not do it. And then Asuka eventually won with the arm submission. And then afterwards, Bianca Belair got in the ring, and we had the face-off between champion and challenger. And then Asuka had this blue substance coming out of her mouth. She started laughing, and the announcers were talking about like how this is her playing mind games. So, yeah, I mean, this will be a really good WrestleMania match, but I feel like it's going to need some more build-up. It feels like a random premium live event match. Doesn't feel to me at least like a WrestleMania caliber match just yet. But hopefully with several weeks of build up, they can do it. The problem is some of these matches on this WrestleMania card feel like they don't have much build up. Few of the storylines have had long-term storytelling. Obviously, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, all that's been going on for a while. Really, the one that has been told the best as far as longevity and this long buildup for of everything, I would say it's Edge versus Finn Balor. More on that later. We had Carmella backstage upset about Asuka and wants a receipt, and she got it. Adam Pearce made the rematch for next week's episode of Monday Night Raw. And then Seth Rollins was interviewed, and he talked about Logan Paul, said Paul thinks it's a game, but he's going to find Paul and is going to hurt him at WrestleMania, but he didn't say WrestleMania specifically. We then had MVP backstage cutting a promo on Brock Lesnar. MVP called Lesnar a coward for using a DQ to get out of the Hurt Lock. Then we had Omos coming into the camera. And basically, MVP said that Omos is challenging Brock Lesnar to a match at WrestleMania. We're not getting Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Yikes. Talk about a bathroom break match. I mean, yeah, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. That will be awesome. You got some solid matches on this WrestleMania card, but this is not going to be one of them. Speaking of throwing matches together, like, what a waste of Lesnar, in my opinion. Like, we all know Lesnar's going to win. It's going to be not much of a match. Lesnar will pick him up and do the F5, but, I mean, yeah, feels like a throwaway match for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania because they got nothing else better to do with the guy. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, seriously, it feels the WWE for the longest time have too many mid-carders and filler matches taking up TV time and very few main event stars. Well, it's been like that for many, many years. Like, remember in 2008, John Cena and Randy Orton versus the Raw roster. Like, that's what it's basically been like. They push a couple of guys, and then everybody else is interchangeable. But Omos is really interchangeable at this point. I feel like his act has run its course, and yeah, Lesnar's going to destroy him. And yeah, I guess they got nothing else for Lesnar at WrestleMania. Hamp Kano with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Much appreciated. Says he's going to get heat for this, but he does not care what anybody says. No, nobody will change his mind. Brock versus Omos is Vince McMahon's decision. He thinks that this has Vincent Kennedy McMahon written all over it. Yeah, it does. Although, honestly, I think Vince would find something better for Brock Lesnar to do at WrestleMania. I really feel like they just don't know what to do with Lesnar. What can you do? He already ran through Roman Reigns in several matches. Where does he go? Like, he's had the matches with Bobby Lashley. Like, to be fair, I can't even think of a really good opponent for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Maybe a Damian Priest, I think, would be more intriguing than Omos. But yeah, I mean, there's not that many guys for Brock to go against at this point. And yeah, they just had to do something with him so they could get Brock Lesnar on the WrestleMania card. Shanti is here. Thank you, Shanti, for the $2 super chat. Says, happy birthday to the mother of Baby Rift, Pizza Hut. No, we're not doing Pizza Hut, but thank you for that. I appreciate it nonetheless. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, Brock versus Omos shouldn't even be on the pre-show. Well, Brock Lesnar will never be on the pre-show just because he's Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat and says Brock versus Omos, red herring. Wishful thinking, probably. Colin Andrews says Brock versus Gunther would be 100,000 times better. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you on that one. Moving on here, we had Seth freaking Rollins versus The Miz. And we all know Rollins is winning this one. The Miz is like a glorified job guy at this point. He's basically there to enhance other people. Former WWE champion, but you know what? Miz does his job well. He does the job pretty good. So Rollins went right after Miz. They fought on the outside. Miz was sent over the announce desk. Miz did get the upper hand for a bit, but then he made the mistake of trash talking, and he brought up Logan Paul, and that set off Rollins. Rollins snapped. He hit the curb stomp. He hit 3 of them when it was all said and done. And the referee actually stopped the match because of the 3 stomps. So that's a rare referee stoppage on Monday Night Raw. Seth freaking Rollins is pissed, and he means business. So Logan Paul, you done goofed. This was okay, but again, like I feel Miz is just never able to be taken seriously. So anytime he's out there, it's like, whatever. Like, we all know he's getting his ass kicked, and he's a former WWE champion. We had another segment backstage with Adam Pearce. Chelsea Green was calling him. She got sent to Ottawa, Illinois instead of Ottawa, Canada. And Pearce apologized, but he was clearly not sincere. And the idea was that Pearce purposely sent her to the wrong city. And he said he'll figure things out, but then said he couldn't hear Chelsea. There was a bad reception, which was, of course, BS, and hung up on her. So, yeah, this was kind of amusing. We then had Bronson Reed backstage confronting Alpha Academy to set up Reed's match with Chad Gable. We'll get to that here in just a moment. Next up, we had Ding Dong hello. Bobby Roode is injured, by the way, Hamp. He's not going to be back for a while. Bayley brought back her talk show segment with the tag champs, her teammates in Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Bayley called them the greatest tag team champions of all time. They praised her, said that they wouldn't be in their position without her. Lots of butt kissing here. Dakota said they will continue to dominate. But then Becky Lynch showed up, and Becky said that she has a plan. The titles have been collecting dust from a lack of defenses, and she wants to win the tag team titles. Bayley said that Becky has no friends, but of course that's not true. Lita showed up, and they knocked on the door. They opened the door. Bayley was not happy about her door being opened, and Bayley brought up the match from a year ago in Saudi Arabia between Becky and Lita, but Lita basically said that was water under the bridge. They're at peace with each other, and they like the idea of walking into WrestleMania as tag team champions, and a challenge was issued. Bayley was against it, but then Becky asked if they were scared, and at that point, Bayley accepted for the team. Becky and Lita grabbed the titles, held them up, and then threw them at Damage Control. Damage Control looked like a couple of prelim talent when this segment was all said and done. So I'm wondering if we're getting a title change. Like, what are they doing for WrestleMania now? A lot of people thought that Trish Stratus was going to be used, and apparently she was backstage at the show. And originally, I guess they were going to do a 6-woman match at Elimination Chamber, but at the same time, there's all this talk of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler going for the tag team titles. But yeah, I expect the title change at this point. And I wonder if it's going to be, I mean, it could be like a triple threat match, maybe. We'll see. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, Otis and Reed, are they the new natural disasters? No. And we'll get to that in just a moment. 1 second here. We had Candice LeRae backstage. She was asked about Johnny Gargano, her husband, and before she could really finish the interview, Nikki Cross was seen in the back. Candice went over to her, wants to know why Candice wants to know why Nikki keeps following her, and Nikki whispered something to her, and apparently Nikki has no friends. And Candice said that Gargano will be back, but she was clearly distracted. I do not really care about this storyline. I mean, I'm glad Nikki's back to her old character, but maybe this is a tease for Sandy. I don't know. I mean, wasn't Eric Young supposed to be coming back? I heard that story. So we'll see. We then had Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed, and this was not a squash match. Chad Gable was actually holding his own, but then we had Maxine Dupree out there, and she gave Otis their card. Otis was distracted. Gable got distracted, and then Reed took advantage, power slam, and then hit the tsunami. He got the win. But yeah, Chad Gable lost. However, it was due to a distraction. So yeah, Otis is involved with the Maximum Male Models. I don't think they're doing natural disasters with Reed and Otis. But yeah, this was interesting that Bronson Reed needed all this outside interference to win the match, whatever. And I really don't care about the Maximum Male Model storyline, quite frankly. We then had Elias in the ring for a promo, and he mentioned Rick Boogs. Boogs was watching backstage. Elias wanted to know who is going to walk with him at WrestleMania. He shouldn't have said that. Bobby Lashley came out there, and Bobby Lashley was pissed off. Lashley beat him up, of course, threw him into the ring post, hit him with a spear, put him in the hurt lock, and then Lashley cut a promo, said that Lesnar panicked at Elimination Chamber. Nobody breaks the hurt lock, not Lesnar, not Bray Wyatt, not anybody. And then Lashley said that if he's disrespected, that person will be put down. And yeah, I guess that means we're getting Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, which is an odd choice in my opinion. Although Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt would have been an odd choice as well. Neither of them, I think, would be good matches with Bray Wyatt. But hey, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe this will be an all-time classic. Another match that feels very much thrown together. And again, they do have 5 weeks, but yeah, Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt. Yeah, not sure how I feel about that one. And then we had our main event of the evening, Edge versus Austin Theory. Very good match here, although predictable. So before the match, Edge said that Judgment Day is in the rear view mirror. You all know what that means. Like, if you've been watching wrestling for even a year or two, when somebody says that, it's the exact opposite. So to me, I'm like, well, this is like the most predictable ending. We all know Finn Balor is going to show up there at the end. And Edge did talk about how the window was closing to win one more championship. So anyways, like I said, good match here. Edge was taking it to Theory in the early moments. Edge jumped off the apron, back body dropped Theory on the floor. And then Theory got the upper hand for a while. Edge started to make a comeback, hit several big moves. Theory avoided the spear, but Edge put the crossface on. Theory got to the rope. Edge hit the execution, but Theory kicked out. And then Edge was going for the spear, and sure enough, Finn Balor runs down there, takes a shot at Edge when the referee was distracted, and then Austin Theory hit the A-Town down and got the 1-2-3 victory. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, I thought we were getting Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy. Well, you thought wrong. Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt are friends. I'm not sure what the hell is going on with that, but that's another storyline that I'm starting to lose interest in. I mean, really, since the Royal Rumble, that pitch black match did not cut it for me. I want more LA Knight, damn it. So afterwards, Finn Balor continued the attack on Edge, hit him with the coup de grace multiple times, which they did the same angle earlier in the show with Seth Rollins hitting multiple curb stomps. So again, like, do they have to do the same thing twice on the same show? Like, really? It reminds me of Elimination Chamber when you got Brock Lesnar putting Bobby Lashley through a table, and then, or putting the referee through a table, one of them, I forgot already. Shows you how memorable that was. And then at the end of the show, you had the table spot again. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat, says, why not Brock versus Steve Austin? Austin what he wants and we get the match, or pay Austin what he wants and we get the match we never got in 2002 with great shoot promos. That is a question to ask Steve Austin. I mean, sounds to me like he turned it down, and he doesn't come off like a guy that needs the money. So he probably just did not think it was a good idea. And honestly, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea for Steve Austin to have a match with Brock Lesnar, a guy who had a very serious neck injury? Should he be taking all those suplex bumps from Brock Lesnar? Just saying. Overall, Raw was fairly decent. I did like some of the stuff on the show, but it almost felt like a filler edition of Raw. You know, they announced the tag team titles match for next week, and you know they did set up a few more matches for WrestleMania, although none of them I'm really particularly excited for, except for Balor versus Edge. Like I said earlier, that's the storyline that's really had the most amount of build. You know, this is going back to really going back to when Edge was kicked out of Judgment Day. So it's been a while. This has been a lengthy feud with these guys. That feels like a WrestleMania caliber match, but Omos versus Brock Lesnar, no. Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt, if that's what's happening, no. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really all that much more hyped up than I was a day ago. So I'm giving the show a B minus. I thought it was decent, but nothing too special. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Much love and appreciation to everybody out there. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. We got AEW Revolution coming up. Next week will be the predictions for that. And of course, we got Dynamite and SmackDown later this week. Stay tuned for all that. Have a great week, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.